So to finish up what I've been saying is, most people who think they're free, they're not really free. They think that they're thinking for themselves. They're not really thinking for themselves. They're practicing um, what they're being taught. You know, you're being taught by teachers, by your parents, by the media. You're being programmed. Okay. So the question I want to ask everybody is, how free is America really when we have the strongest mind control program? You know, don't take the, just because everyone's not on the same page doesn't mean that there's not mind control. That's a mistake a lot of people make. You know, they think, oh well, this isn't this Muslim region of the world where everyone has to do things a certain way or they get stoned to death. So we're not controlled. You're all controlled. Almost every person that's going to watch this video, almost every person in this country, is their actions are controlled, their behavior is controlled, what they think is controlled. And it's more advanced than you might think. A lot of people say, well, I don't believe everything I read in the news, so I'm thinking for myself. Or, I know better than these other political parties because I'm thinking for myself and I know best. I'm telling you right now, if you belong to any major political party, of course you're not thinking for yourself. If you're in the military and you're a flag waving military guy, of course you're not thinking of yourself. If you're a police officer, almost certainly you're not thinking for yourself. If you're in a gang, almost certainly you're not thinking for yourself. Someone gave you the idea to be in a gang, and then when you're in a gang, you take on a certain behavior, a certain persona, So we live in a society where everybody is a bootlicking coward, really. Because they don't want to do what I did and be, alone most of the time. And the people that I really talk to, they don't see it my way. I don't really have any friends because at the end of the day, nobody sees it my way. Or they see it my way, but they don't live like that. They're like, yeah, I kind of see it that way, but I want to live my life, so I'm going to, I'm going to hang out here with these people and blah, 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 and I'm going to adapt. It's another problem, is that people, when you're in mind control, they force you to care about what they think, and then you adapt to that. That's the major problem with mind control today. Adaption. You understand me? And so one of the things that gives away who's part of the New World Order is who is the most hell bent to get you to adapt, to get you to conform, to assimilate you. The teachers, of course. People in political movements, of course. And what people don't really truly understand is that whether they're a punk rocker, they're into classical music, they're a skateboarder, a surfer, a thug. There's people who are getting you to adapt, Snoop Dogg, for instance, getting you to adapt to a certain thing, Not everybody who's getting you to adapt is in a secret society. But on some level, they understand that what they're doing is why they're allowed to do it. Exactly what they're doing has been approved. There's a stamp of approval on it, and so they're allowed to continue. You'll never see me become a major speaker, a major leader in society. It's not because I can't win a debate. I could beat any of these people in a debate, hands down. They'd be forced to tell the truth and come to my view to come off as intelligent and right as I am. And either they're incapable of doing that because they're idiots, or they're capable of doing that but they're not going to do it because it's been made clear to them that it's not in their best interest. So at the end of the day, the most correct, holy way to be, starts off with not caring about what other people think. And that's part of transcending the world. A lot of you will say, well, this is a Western philosophy, Thoreau and Emerson and transcendentalism and, et cetera, right? You can see it that way, but it's not entirely true. These are the people who come to mind when you talk about it. But people have been transcending the world for a very, very long time. Before Egypt was really a factor, when the Egyptians were just small ethnic groups and tribes roaming around Northeast Africa. You know, people were transcending society. You know, this is something that's been practiced by almost every culture in the world, you know. The difference is that's the thing about what we call Western philosophy. I think most people who look into this, they know very well that the Greeks and the Americans and all these ideas that we have, they're called Western philosophy, have been around for a very, very long time. It's just somebody made them popular and their name is attached to it. You know, Calvinism, you know, Lutheranism, Protestantism, you know, they've been given credit for this. You know, people have been protesting the church for a long time. You know, Christians have been disagreeing for a long time. But then there's somebody comes along and for whatever reason, you know, I'm running out of time in this video, so I can't really get into it. But for whatever reason, for better or for worse, you can imagine how I say I'm leaning toward for worse. In fact, I'm sure it's for worse. But they get the credit, and that's what we think of it as, you know. That's not what I think of it as. But when I use the word transcend, I know that people are going to say, well, he's taken on this philosophy. But I haven't taken this philosophy. I've believed in this for a long time. And before I came across these Western philosophies, I was already familiar with these ideas. Most of these ideas I have myself, I came to the conclusion that that's how I see it before I really got into religion, before I really got into philosophy. When I saw my ideas mirrored in philosophy, you know, I wasn't surprised. Another thing is everything I talk about is thought-provoking. It's deep wisdom that if society was honest and gave me a fair shake, you know, it would send ripples. It would dramatically change our educational institutions. Once you compare what's being taught with what I say, you know, you come to the conclusion pretty quickly that what I say is what really should be being taught, not what you're being taught for whatever reason, okay? Do a lot of professors know better? Yes. I'd go as far as saying most college professors know that what they teach isn't entirely correct to teach people and isn't entirely right or fair. They know this. They knew how important it was to take over the media, to take over education. They knew how important it was to take over, you know, the sentiments and philosophies and cultural values and norms of society. That's how you control society. So going back to mind control, you know, I'm gonna make one last point because I want to wrap this up. I'm not telling you to be like, fuck what this one group thinks. I'm a Black Panther, or I'm a Democrat, or I'm a homosexual, or I'm a feminist, or I'm a Christian, I'm a Muslim. I'm saying fuck what everybody else thinks, but God. Thank you.